Most people go through life blind. They look, but they don't see. They hear, but they don't listen. They interact with people, but miss every signal, every tell, every hidden truth right in front of them. Meanwhile, there's a small percentage of people who see everything. They notice the micro-expression that flashes across your face for half a second. They catch the inconsistency in your story. They read the body language you don't even know you're broadcasting. These people have power you don't. Not because they're smarter, because they actually observe. Today, I'm going to reveal the dark psychology of observation, how paying attention to what everyone else ignores gives you the ability to read people, detect deception, understand hidden motives, and protect yourself from manipulation. This isn't about being paranoid. This is about seeing reality as it actually is, not as people want you to believe it is. The observation gap. Research from Harvard shows that most people operate in a state of continuous partial attention. They're physically present, but mentally elsewhere, scrolling while talking, thinking about their response instead of listening, missing 90% of the information available to them. This creates a massive gap between those who observe and those who don't. In every interaction, in every room, there's information being broadcast constantly. Tone of voice, body language, word choice, timing, inconsistencies. Most people catch none of it. But someone trained in observation, they're reading you like a book you didn't know you were writing. Sherlock Holmes wasn't fiction's greatest detective because of intelligence. It was observation. He saw the mud on someone's shoes and knew where they'd been. He noticed a callus and knew their profession. He observed what everyone else overlooked. This is real. This is trainable. This is power. Strategy 1. Master baseline behavior. You cannot detect deception or hidden emotions if you don't know what normal looks like. This is where amateur observers fail and experts dominate. FBI behavioral analysts don't look for lies, they look for deviations from baseline. First, they observe how someone normally behaves when relaxed and truthful. Then they watch for changes. Does this person usually make eye contact? How much do they gesture? What's their default speaking pace, their natural posture? Once you establish baseline, deviations become obvious. The person who never touches their face suddenly touching their nose repeatedly. The naturally talkative person becoming brief. The relaxed person tensing up. Research from the Behavioral Analysis Program shows that baseline deviation is the most reliable indicator of deception, far more accurate than any single tell like eye movement or fidgeting. Start observing people's baseline behavior in neutral situations, family dinners, casual conversations, low-stakes environments. Learn their patterns. Then watch for breaks in those patterns when the stakes rise. Strategy 2. Read micro-expressions. Your face betrays you constantly. For a fraction of a second, your true emotion shows before your conscious mind can suppress it and replace it with the expression you want to show. These are called micro-expressions, and they last between 1/15th and 1/25th of a second. Most people never see them. Trained observers catch every single one. Paul Ekman's research identified 7 universal micro-expressions: anger, disgust, contempt, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. These appear across all cultures, regardless of language or background. Someone says they're happy for your success, but you catch a micro-flash of contempt before the smile. Someone claims they're confident, but you see fear flicker across their face before the mask goes up. This isn't speculation. This is reading what they're actually feeling versus what they're pretending to feel. Train yourself by watching videos frame by frame. Study faces during high emotion moments. Your brain can learn to process these micro-expressions in real time. It just requires deliberate practice. Strategy 3. Listen for linguistic tells. Liars don't just change their body language, they change their language patterns in specific, detectable ways. Research from the University of Texas, analyzing thousands of deceptive statements, found consistent patterns. Liars use fewer first-person pronouns. They use more negative emotion words. They provide excessive detail about irrelevant aspects while being vague about key elements. I didn't take the money versus the money wasn't taken by me. The shift from active to passive voice creates distance from the action. I would never do that versus I didn't do that. The hypothetical deflection instead of direct denial. Someone telling a true story adds details when asked follow-up questions. Someone lying gets defensive or provides identical repetition because they're reciting a memorized script. Listen not just to what people say, but how they say it. The words they choose reveal what they're hiding. Strategy 4. Understand body language clusters. The myth. Crossed arms means someone is closed off. One gesture means one thing. The reality. No single gesture means anything. You need clusters of behaviors pointing in the same direction. Former FBI agent Joe Navarro's research shows that reliable body language reading requires at least 3 consistent signals. Crossed arms plus leaning back plus reduced eye contact plus shorter responses equals defensive withdrawal. Crossed arms alone might just mean they're cold. The feet are the most honest part of the body. They point toward what you want and away from what you don't. Someone's torso and face might be engaged with you, but their feet point toward the door. They want to leave. Self-soothing gestures under stress, touching the neck, rubbing hands together, adjusting clothing repeatedly. One instance means nothing. Repeated patterns signal discomfort. Watch for clusters. Single signals are noise. Patterns are data. Strategy 5. Notice what's absent. Master observers don't just see what's there, they notice what's missing. The question that wasn't answered, the topic that's consistently avoided, the emotion that should be present but isn't. Someone tells you about a traumatic event with 0 emotional affect. That absence is information. Someone describes their relationship but never mentions their partner by name, only they or we. That distance is revealing. Psychologist Paul Ekman calls this duping delight, the pleasure deceivers feel when successfully lying. You ask about something serious and you catch a suppressed smile. The emotion doesn't match the content. Or the opposite. Someone claims to be devastated but shows no physiological signs of sadness. No tears, no catch in their voice, no slumped shoulders. What's absent is often more revealing than what's present. Strategy 6. Timing and context. When someone says something matters as much as what they say, timing reveals priority, intention, and manipulation. Research in behavioral psychology shows that people bury uncomfortable truths in the middle of longer explanations. They front-load and end with less important information, hiding the real message in the middle where you're less likely to focus. Someone asking for something immediately after doing you a favor isn't coincidence. That's reciprocity manipulation. They created a sense of debt deliberately. Someone complimenting you excessively before asking for something, buttering up. Someone being unusually nice after treating you poorly, guilt management. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote about observing not just actions, but the timing and context of actions. The same behavior in different contexts means completely different things. Strategy 7. Watch the eyes and hands. The eyes and hands are the body's most expressive tools and the hardest to consciously control under stress. Eye accessing cues. When people recall actual memories versus construct lies, their eye movements differ. This isn't universal or foolproof, but patterns exist. More reliable, pupil dilation. Interest, attraction, and arousal cause measurable pupil expansion. Fear and stress cause constriction. You can't fake this. Hand gestures that don't match words signal internal conflict. Someone saying, "I'm telling the truth," while their hands make dismissive or uncertain gestures. The body is contradicting the words. Concealing hands completely, behind back, in pockets, under table, often correlates with concealing information. FBI research shows that open hand gestures correlate with perceived honesty, while hidden hands trigger subconscious distrust. The dark side of observation. This power comes with responsibility. You'll see things people don't want you to see. You'll know when people are lying, when they're uncomfortable, when they're hiding something. This can destroy relationships if you use it to manipulate rather than understand. It can breed paranoia if you see deception everywhere. The Stoic approach. Observe to understand, not to control. Use this knowledge to protect yourself from manipulation, not to manipulate others. See clearly, but act with wisdom. Marcus Aurelius had access to every court intrigue, every hidden motive. He chose to observe without becoming cynical, to see clearly without losing his humanity. The practice. Start today. In every conversation, actively observe instead of passively participating. Watch faces. Listen to word choice. Notice what's missing. Identify baseline and deviations. You'll be terrible at first. You'll miss signals. You'll misinterpret. That's fine. Like any skill, observation improves with practice. Within weeks, you'll start noticing things you never saw before. Within months, you'll read people at a level most never achieve. The world looks completely different when you actually observe it. Most people stumble through life blind. You don't have to be one of them. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you consider yourself observant? What signals do you notice that others miss? Drop a comment below and share your experience. If this video opened your eyes to how much information you've been missing in every interaction, hit that like button. It helps others discover these psychological insights. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content on dark psychology, human behavior, and the hidden dynamics of social interaction. Share this video with someone who needs to develop their observation skills, whether for protection from manipulation or simply to understand people at a deeper level. Thank you for watching. Most people look but never see. You now have the tools to actually observe. Use them wisely. I'll see you in the next video.